It is March 23rd, 2021, and this is my latest update for Medellin Colombia and Colombia as a whole. Follow along.
You're watching dcbornrob, racing borders. And now, the news.
Again, good morning. It is March 23rd, 2021, and this is the latest news update for Colombia. In a nutshell, one word: rain. Rain, 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 and the rainy season. Let's just jump into our first story. The first one is from minuto30.com in a video, and I'll show a video. Hey, keep an eye on the weather. The Daggett alerts for the public about the rainy season. The Administrative Department for Disaster Risk Management, Daggett, sent an alert to the public to address the recommendations for the start of the rainy season in Medellin and the Andean region. This is a call made by the mayor of Medellin, tasting guidelines for IDIM and the National Unit for Disaster Risk Management, UNGERD. With the occurrence of the La Nina phenomena, a system of rains that have been affecting the country since the end of 2020, national institutions foresee a considerable increase in rainfall for the months of March, April, and May. This could lead to sudden floods of ravines, torrential floods, and landslides. So far in 2021, we have attended 131 tree collapses, 15 landslides, and 8 floods. The alerts issued by the IDIM and UNGERD suggest a considerable increase in rainfall and possible effects on vulnerable and high-risk areas in our city, said the director of Daggett, Athenia Arango. It is important that everyone is attentive to the recommendations of the disaster risk management agencies and to report in a timely manner to line 123 any anomalies, situations in streams or slopes, he said. Recommendations made by Daggett: be attentive to the increase in the channel of the streams whose overflowing causes floods and houses near these water currents. Attention, damage to the metro railway line affects stations in the north of the Abura Valley. You can see this picture of the train tracks. It is actually sloping and people are still riding on it. Minuto30.com. Due to undermining that affects the railway line, the Medellin Metro will be restricted for several days between Acevedo and Niquia stations, according to Mayor Daniel Quintero. The heavy rains in recent days would have caused the damage, which would require several days to be repaired. The mayor's office, the Metro, and AMVA are evaluating the situation to create a contingency plan to migrate the impact that this situation generates for users in the north of the Abura Valley. Among the determinations made by the competent authorities, it has been decided that for the Niquia Acevedo station, there will be a train every 20 or 30 minutes. In addition, integrated routes have been enabled as follows. Those of Bello and Madura will reach the Tricentennial. Those from Niquia will reach Acevedo. From Minuto30.com, violent landslide, passage closed in Autopista del Café. The moment of the collapse was recorded on video. And you can see this coming down. I do have a video of it. Minuto30.com, on the morning of this Monday, March 22nd, a landslide of great proportions was registered in the Autopista del Café that caused the total collapse of the road. The landslide occupies the two roads at the height of the La Trinidad, La Uribe. It is recommended to take alternate routes in the La Siria sector. In a video that circulates on social media, you can see the moment when a wall of earth collapsed on the road, causing both roads to be blocked. Fall of a tree blocks the road to the village of Santa Elena. And you can see in this picture, it fell on a motorcycle. A few minutes ago, citizens reported a landslide that caused the fall of a tree that obstructed the road to the town of Santa Elena in Medellin. According to a video recorded by one of the passersby, the tree fell on a motorcycle. The driver and the volunteers tried to rescue it. At the time of publication of this note, relief agencies were heading to the place to attend to the emergency. So far, it is unknown if there are any injuries. Rain, rain, rain. Yes, I actually planned on going down in a couple of weeks from now. Even my girl says you need to go. Instead of waiting for her to get her passport together because she had to get it renewed, I need to go. So I was planning on going in a couple of weeks, but then I asked myself, do I really want to go during the rainy season?
No, not a chance.
No,
not at all.
No,
none of us
not
agrees.
a chance.
Nope,
we're all
never
going to say
happen.
nope.
None of us are going to say that.
So I decided I'm going to hold off for a little bit longer, at least until I know the rain is going to subside some. But anyway, on this side note, do me a favor. Make sure you go check out Sweet Georgia Cafe when you get to Medellin, Colombia. Make sure you go to Brooklyn's when you get to Medellin, Colombia. Make sure you reach out to Andres and Nomad Travel to make sure you can get airport drop-offs and pickups and tours all around Medellin and see what a beautiful country they have to share. Still with Minuto30.com, winter wave in Narino leaves more than 800 families affected and 6 injured. And you can see, according to this picture, it's been rough. It's been rough. The winter wave that hits several departments of the country, including Narino, has caused havoc and thousands of families affected. In that department, 48 of the 64 municipalities have reported damage to roads, houses, and farms. John Rojas Cabrera, governor of Narino, pointed out that after decreeing the public calamity for up to 6 months, the heavy rains have left more than 800 families affected and said that fortunate there have been no human victims to regret. The president also said that 6 are injured as a result of emergency. 2 of them are women who were seriously injured after being struck by lightning. The mayor also said that another person was trapped by a landslide in the municipality of Gualmatan, but was quickly rescued by peasants in the area. In addition, a 7-year-old minor was injured after being hit by a stone after a landslide in the municipality of Colón Genova. Finally, Cabrera called on citizens to move carefully, especially on the border with Ecuador, since it has not stopped raining for a week. This one is from elpais.com. Rains in Cali do not stop. Emergencies in various sectors of the city this holiday Monday. The increase in rainfall in Cali due to the winter season of the La Niña phenomenon continues to hit the city hard and generate various emergencies. This holiday Monday, there have been floods, mass movements, and falling trees in different areas of the capital of the valley as a result of the rainfall that has occurred since early morning. The hillside area of the city, especially Comuna 20, has been the most affected, a situation that was led by Mayor of Cali, Jorge Ivan Ospina, to declare an orange alert in the city. We have had difficulties and collapses towards the Siloa area. There, 8 houses have collapsed. Fortunately, they were empty. We also have the possibility of a large collapse in the sector of the Child Development Center, CDI, of La Estrella, he said, the mayor of Cali, Jorge Ivan Ospina, at the end of an extraordinary government council held by the Siloa Health Center. My next story is from El Colombiano, and it is entitled, Is it possible for acid rain to fall on Medellin? First, let me take a second and let you know that the rainy season is supposed to be April and May. It's been going a little bit earlier this year, and when it does rain, it rains for a few hours and then it stops. I don't want you to think it's constant downpour 24 hours a day. It's not like that. It's just all these stories are popping up about the rain, so I want to put it to you. But this one is entitled, Is it possible for acid rain to fall in Medellin? Okay, it says environmental pollution, which worries the Antioquia capital so much, can also change the chemical properties of the rainwater that falls on the city. That was the main finding of the civil engineer Mauricio Ramirez Arias' master's degree in engineering and hydraulic resources from the National University of Colombia. In the research developed together with the early warning system of Medellin and the Abura Valley Ciata, and with contributions of the Valle de Abura metropolitan area, which is an environmental authority in Medellin and is 9 neighboring municipalities. The results of the study released by the UN University News Agency showed that in 42 monitored rainfall events, it was found that although the appearance of the water was similar, at least 31 of them had acid rain. Acidity is measured with the International pH scale. And as a reference, it is known that the juice of a lemon has a pH of 2. It's acidic. And sodium bicarbonate has a pH of 9, which is alkaline, while the rainwater is considered to be clean when it has a pH of 5.6. The field measures for this research were carried out during the secondary rainy season in 2018. That is between September and November, when Medellin experiences one of its periods of environmental contingency. The other is in March. So there's actually 2 rainy seasons. At this time, the low cloudiness prevents a correct dispersion of the polluting particles emitting by vehicles, mobile sources, and industry's fixed sources. Okay, this one I had to share. This one is from minuto30.com. This one says, so creative, inmates of Convita try to enter a cell phone into the prison in a pigeon. So you got to check this picture out. They strap a cell phone to the pigeon to make it almost the same color. I mean, you got to give it to people. You can't beat people that have too much time on their hands, okay? They're going to find a way. If you leave a prisoner alone in a prison by themselves, they will find a way out. So this says the custody of surveillance core of the prison discovered inside the Convita prison in Boyacá, a pigeon that had a cell phone and a free handpiece camouflaged in its back, covered by a cloth that resembled the color of the animal's feathers. Faced with the case, the National Penitentiary and Prison Institute, INPEC, through a statement, spoke of the situation and stated that there have been various modalities and attempts to enter elements into the prisons that have been identified among them by drones. These new forms of admission are the result of the increase in security controls in the establishments and the commitment in the INPEC Directorate, jointly with the National Police, WALA, to combat extortion from detention centers, INPEC pointed out. Next story is from elcolombiano.com. This one is entitled, Places that Medellin Contemplates for Massive Anti-COVID Vaccination. And it's just basically one paragraph I wanted to put in here for you. The Ministry of Health of Medellin prepares a mapping of scenarios that allow greater assistance under all biosafety protocols, such as parks, libraries, and educational institutions, to carry out the next phases of vaccination against COVID-19. The head of the office, Andre Uribe Montoya, assured that the intention is that we can make up these facilities to set up very broad biosafety protocols that allow a streamlining of the process, and that we can serve those more than 400 people who in this second stage, they will reach the vaccination post. But the paragraph I wanted to give you really was, it says, in turn, the mayor of the city, Daniel Quintero, warned about the increase in infections, noting that 100 people entered the ICU this week with ages between 60 and 79. He also indicated that the higher number of infections is observed in the comunas of El Poblado, Laureles, and La America, and Belén. On the other hand, with the announcement made by the Ministry of Health to promote mass vaccination of people over 80 years of age who have not yet been vaccinated, the new EPS asked those who have knowledge or a family member over 80 years of age who still has not been vaccinated, so that you can go with them and to any of the vaccination points enabled by the company in your city without prior appointment. There you go. Okay, my next story is entitled, this is from El Heraldo. It's entitled, Barranquilla will have an 11-day curfew. The measure applies from March 25th to 29th between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. It is reactivated on March 31st until April 5th at the same time. Okay, Mayor Jaime Pumarejo announced this Monday the restrictive measures that will be enforced in Barranquilla from March 25th to 29th and from March 31st to April 5th at night. The president explained that the decision was made as a result of the rise in numbers of people infected by COVID and the occupation of beds in intensive care units, the ICU, which is at 74%. The 7 measures taken by the district include restriction of circular and prohibitions regarding the consumption of liquor, celebrations, meetings, and religious acts that involve crowds. In the case of the curfew, it was established from March 25th to 29th and from March 31st to the 5th. The hours in which the measure will be governed range from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. During those days and at the same times, the sale of consumption of alcohol and intoxicating beverages is prohibited in the jurisdiction of the District of Barranquilla. For those establishments that do not comply with the biosafety measures and protocols, fines of up to 10,000 times the minimum wage will be sanctioned. The closure of the sites for up to 3 months is also contemplated. Likewise, the authorities will proceed to denounce before prosecutor's office those who promote or allow parties in their commercial establishments and in a flagrant manner attempt against the lives of Barranquilleros. As of the date, the maximum capacity allowed for social gatherings, activities, or events such as baptisms, weddings, and birthday celebrations will end up at 8 people. It should be noted that the measure established a maximum capacity of 10 people. The mayor said that processions and massive religious events on the occasion of Holy Week are prohibited. The liturgical events of the call during the greater week must be carried out in compliance with biosafety measures and with the maximum capacity allowed, always using the masks. To free ICUs from the health system, the president announced that the suspension of any non-vital surgery on this Pulmero reported that he had asked all medical personnel to remain alert in the next 2 weeks to avoid gaps for the holiday season. This is from El Heraldo. Also, Santa Maria full of tourists at peak of COVID-19. The sectors with the highest concentration of tourists are El Rodadero, Playa Blanca, and Taganga. Or Tahanga. And you can see they're packing them in the beach. People are going there to get away from the rain. Since this Friday, thousands of tourists from the interior of the country filled with streets and beaches of the main tourist sectors of Santa Marta. Regardless of the peak of the pandemic by COVID-19 announced by that city, which has a significant increase in infections and deaths due to the virus, the public in general has shown concern about the numbers of visitors who especially come from Bogota, Medellin, and Cali, but especially Berna Johnson, mayor of the city, who on her Twitter account expressed that she repeatedly requested the Ministry of Inland the closure of the beaches, but this request had been denied. On different occasions, I have asked Minister of the approval of stricter measures for Santa Marta, including the closures of beaches. However, they have been denied. I will send the request again, hoping that this time they will authorize it, said the president. And you can see they're packing them in. Okay, this one is still from El Heraldo. They seal a bar for clandestine party in Santa Marta. The authorities imposed summons of up to more than 50 people for not abiding by the curfew prohibition. Okay, a total of 55 people were surprised inside a bar celebrating a clandestine party and disrespecting biosecurity measures. The curfew and the dry law in the central area of the capital of Magdalena. It was known that uniformed men from the Mercado station heard music and noise in an apparently closed establishment when they patrolled 12th Street with the race between races 4 and 5. As indicated by the Santa Marta Metropolitan Police, the site functions as a whorehouse. At 4:30 in the morning on Saturday, they finally opened the doors and the uniformed officers intervened the place, finding people consuming intoxicating drinks without any justification. The policemen applied 55 orders to appear to the offending citizens for finding themselves violating the district regulations and the suspension of the commercial activity of the establishment for the period of 10 days. Still from El Heraldo, due to crowds and indiscipline, beaches of Santa Marta will be closed. The Ministry of Interior clarified that it has not denied a request in this regard. The mayor of Santa Marta, Berna Johnson, announced that she will reiterate to the Ministry of Interior to the request to closure of beaches and revealed that the request in this regard has been presented to the office, has not been denied. The ministry did not consider it pertinent, so it will send the request again, hoping that this time they will authorize it, he noted. Well, I said she noted. However, the government portfolio, through a statement, clarified that before the authorization of the closure of beaches, the mayor's office was requested to submit to the Ministry of Epidemiology epidemiology. Okay, somebody told me to say epi. Reasons to transfer them to the Ministry of Health and review the complete closures of beaches as requested. But what perhaps has been said is that information was not provided by the mayors of Santa Marta. Okay, I have a couple of stories left for you, but first I want to make sure I remind you to join our Colombia bound chat group. We're on the Mighty Networks. We've been up and running for about a month now. We have maybe 290 something members. So be that 300th, join us, get the information that's sitting right there for you. You don't need to scroll back up like in WhatsApp to look for it. If you recall, we have moved everything. We've shut down the WhatsApp group. We had to shut it down prematurely for, the reason a few days ago. But we are currently up and running, and we have been for about a month now on the new platform. You want to find out where PCR tests are? Type in PCR tests. Get the list. You want to find out where to stay? Like somebody asked this morning, where do I stay in Medellin for an Airbnb or an apartment? Luis had already put it up. It's there. Boom. All this information is there. And you don't have to scroll through, and you don't get dings and alerts all day long unless certain ones that you want. So join the group. Email me at dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com, dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com, and I'll get you in. Okay, last two stories. Okay, this story is from portafolio.com or .colombia.co. Avianca reported losses of $1,094 million in 2020. So that's $1 billion. At the end of the previous year, the company had a cash box of $911 million for its operational needs. Due to the effects of the pandemic in this aeronautical industry, Avianca recorded losses of $1,094 million in 2020. This is reported by the airline to the financial superintendents of Colombia. According to the report, at this juncture, the company's management will submit to the consideration of the General Assembly of shareholders not to distribute profits. Distribute what? On the other hand, the company alluded to the judicial reorganization process in which it has been since May 10th, 2020 in Chapter 11th of the United States Bankruptcy Code, which is supervised by the Bankruptcy Court of the Southern District of New York. As previously announced on September 21st, 2020, Avianca closed a DIP, a debtor in possession financing for about $2 billion, of which approximately $1.2 billion were from commitments of new resources and the remainder refinancing of previous debts. The objective of this financing is to provide the company with the necessary liquidity to meet its obligations during its reorganization. At the end of 2020, Avianca had a cash box of $911 million to meet its operational needs. The cash, together with commitments of funds still available as of December 31st under the DIP financing of the US $350 million, represents a total liquidity position of the country at the end of the year of $1,261 million. So again, thanks for watching, guys. If you're getting any benefit out of my videos, do me a favor, go down and hit the subscribe button, click the bell to be alerted of any new videos, and like. Like helps the YouTube algorithm, as simple as that. The more you hit like, the more YouTube decides to share it. Thank you guys for watching, and be safe.
We have a YouTube channel, like it.
Please comment and share if you like the video. Please subscribe and kick the bell.